Hello everyone, welcome to Judy's Creations in Crochet, and today is May the 1st, a brand new month, and I'm coming to you from Chatham, Ontario, the southernmost tip of Ontario and Canada. I hope you've had a good week, and I want to welcome all of you that has stopped by to see me. If you are new, welcome, and I hope you enjoy what I have to offer and that we will see you again. And to those that are returning viewers, thank you, thank you, thank you. I always appreciate you, and I certainly appreciate your comments. And if there are any of you that are watching that have not subscribed, then I'd really appreciate if you'd hit that subscribe button and, as other YouTubers say, rock that notification bell. Being it is the 1st of May, we have to have a visit from Kiki. And Kiki is wearing probably her most boring dress of all at a time when this really, for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, this is really a good time because of the regrowth and the warmer weather coming and the chance to get outside and work in our gardens, which I'm looking forward to. I did spend one day out in the yard last week, but then it got cool again. But I've decided part of the reason, and that's why her dress is the color it is, green and brown mixed, because it's the earth that we're going to get our hands in and the regrowth green. But I've decided it's boring because it doesn't have a nice border on it. So I'm thinking that I just might work on putting a border on it, maybe while I'm chatting to you, because today I have one, I can't even think of the word. I have one focus, we'll say, and that is to do stash down, which won't take very long. And then after that, it's going to be a whole lot of chit chat by me, which I hope you don't find too boring. But yes, I have a lot of odds and ends I want to cover, and I don't generally like some of my fellow creators. They tend to sit and crochet while they're here. I don't think I've ever done that, and I'm going to try it, but at the same time I have a lot of things to show you, so I can't be stitching and showing at the same time. So I have my yarn started here, and if I get a chance I will work on it. So I hope the weather is nice where you are, and I hope spring is about to arrive. And meanwhile, I'm going to start by showing you what I am wearing. And you know, I went looking for the pattern name. I'm positive it's a pattern by EFA, Expression Fiber Arts. And I thought it was one called Willona, but then when I looked at it, it didn't look like exactly the same pattern. So I don't know, I went through all the EFA patterns and I couldn't find one that looked like this. But it is a pattern that is made out of Mirage Sport. And Mirage Sport is marine. I don't know the percentages. I guess I could turn around and grab one and tell you. There's a Mirage Sport. I know it's got merino, camel, cashmere. Okay, merino for 70%, and then 10 for baby alpaca, not alpaca, sorry, 10 for baby camel, 10 for cashmere, and 10 for mulberry silk. This feels really, really nice. And if you don't like quite the heavy warmth of a DK, and I do find DK just a wee bit heavy, but you want something a little more than fingering, this is perfect because this is a sport weight. And it has still decent yardage in it. It has 320 meters or 350 yards. So it's close to a fingering. This feels absolutely lovely. And I'm really quite happy with this one. And of course you can see there are colors that I would love. So that's what I'm wearing. Sorry I cannot link the pattern for you because I couldn't find the exact pattern, which is a bit of a disappointment. So we're going to get started right off the bat by talking about stash down for the month of April. It's hard to believe April's gone already. Here it is, May. And by the way, May 1st, happy birthday to my eldest niece. I'm sure she's not watching, but anyway, today is her birthday. So I'm going to talk about my items that I completed in April and which ones will fit into the stash down. So I want to start with an FO. I finished an item last week. I just decided to stay with it because I didn't know a new project to move on to when I finished the shawls that I was working on. So I went and I finished the blanket that you've seen me working on. And it measures 32 by 39. I was told 30 by 40 was the pretty accepted size for wheelchair blankets. And I came fairly close. And like I said, it's the first time I've ever really done anything in the corner to corner in a heavier weight. I did do one corner to corner in a shawl, not a shawl, a oversized cowl or infinity scarf. And this used, do I have the wrapper here? I thought I had the wrapper, but I don't. It used a Caron cake, 2 Caron cakes. Actually, I think it used more than 2 Caron cakes, and I've had them for years and years. So that is a finished object, and it goes in my stash down, and we'll count it as 2 cakes from my stash. Then, I think I showed this last week, I finished this shawl, and this is called the Iris shawl, and it used an entire cake that I got from Blooming Yarns, and this is not counted in my stash down because I just ordered these yarns this spring from Blooming Yarns in the UK. And this is a shawl that, and by the way, I don't know if you can tell, it has sequins in it, but the sequins aren't showing up there. You can see some sequins there in the purple down low. I'm going to put this in our donation box along with the blanket, and it also qualifies in the MAL that I'm participating in. Sequins are showing there. I'm participating in Cathy's MAL. Cathy from Yarn with Heart has a MAL every month, and she has to get this picture. I keep forgetting to send it to her, so I am going to go upstairs when I'm done here and get this picture sent over to Cathy. Has to be there by the end of the week, so I'm going to get it over right away. So that's another finished object for the month. And finally, you would have seen me show this yesterday. things are falling on the ground here. So I won't spend as much time on it today, but this is the item I made from my mal, the butterfly mal, green and black, colors of the butterfly. And this pattern is called Calm Waters by C.J. Brady. I will definitely link this in the description box below. I won't spend a lot of time talking about it because you just heard me talk about it yesterday. Although I'm doing the videos backwards, I know you're hearing this on Thursday. So that is another finished object, and I definitely used yarn from my stash. I used 2 skeins of hand-dyed yarn. So 2 skeins of hand-dyed yarn and 2 cakes plus a little more of acrylic yarns from my stash got done this month. Only 3 projects got done, and I have to say I'm a little bit disappointed with myself. But I mean, it's been a very busy month, a lot that I have had to take care of, and I did work in the yard a bit too, so that's almost a half a day I lost. So anyway, I'm a busy person. I can't be sitting on my butt crocheting all the time. So I guess it was a somewhat productive month, but I am really looking forward to May because I have a whole lot of things going on in my mind of things that I want to get done, and hopefully I will get a little more accomplished this month, although it is garden month and that does take a lot of effort. But my hope is I can get out in the garden in the mornings when the weather gets nice, and then I can come in, and after a shower I can sit and work on my crochet. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully May will see more than 3 projects done, because I have more than 3 projects on my mind to do. Now I have started 2 new projects. Of course, I need a new blanket. Oops, that's not it. Where did I put the blanket? Oh, there it is. I started a new blanket. I like to start it before I get going to the therapy. And as I said, I will always be working on a blanket when I take Rose to her therapy. And I'm back to using the Bernat blanket patchwork. And this is the very, very heavy Bernat blanket, which is considered a number 6. I would have considered it heavier, but that's okay. They know more than I do. And I have made the right measurement. It is exactly 30 inches wide. This is how it's looking. Some pretty colors. And I'm just doing the moss stitch. Whenever I use, oh, it goes this way. Whenever I use the Bernat blanket, I will do a moss stitch. When I use some of my other acrylics that I have up there, I will look into other patterns. But this is just straight moss stitch. And I just love the squishiness of this yarn. I really like working with it. And as you know, I bought several, so I'll be doing more of them in the future. I will finish this, and then I think I'll wait till the fall to work on more of these, and I'll get out the acrylics to work on through the summer. I strongly suspect that our therapy is only going to go another month, maybe 6 weeks. I don't know. And the other thing I started on, and I'm not going to tell you the pattern or anything, I'm working on it for Gary's mal. He has a mood board mal 4 times a year, and right now it has to do with music, and I won't say anything more about it until I finish it, but I will show you that I'm using this yarn. I have used at least half of one cake is going to take 2 cakes, and I hope I don't run out. So I am working on 2 projects right now, and I won't say a whole lot about this because I am going to be talking about it later this year in the summer. So that's what I'm working on. Yeah, 2 things at once. But as you know, the blanket just gets worked on when we go to therapy, unless I feel a need to work on it um, because I'm brain dead from my normal patterns. So that covers finished objects, that covers works in progress. So now let's go on to all of the chit chat for the week. And I want to start by saying thank you for some happy mail. I got a card in the mail, and it's a thank you from Ellen in Illinois. She participates always in the monthly mails, and she happened, I believe she was the one that won last month on the spin of the wheel, and she just wrote to thank me for that. And it always pleases me to get a card in the mail, and I won't read her message inside, but thank you very, very much, Ellen. I do appreciate your kind words. So that can be put aside there. So I have a few things that I wanted to talk about, and all over the place, a little bit of everything. And I know we have discussed this in the past, but there are always new people here. So I thought I might say a little bit about my channel and how it came to be and what the purpose is and what's going on here. And then you would know if it's a place you would like to spend some time. And I have just passed 3.5 years. I started my channel in September on my birthday. So that's when we do it up big around here. And I have a whole month of celebrations in September to celebrate my birthday and the podiversary of my channel. Now, when I started, and not all of you would know this, but when I started, it was in the middle of COVID. It was 2021. And prior to COVID, I had gone to a craft show here in town, which I enjoyed doing, and it gave me an outlet for the things I was making. I was just beginning to really get into hand-dyed yarns just before that. But I didn't have a huge collection like I do now. But I had a lot of items stockpiled. I keep saying stockpiled because when COVID hit, of course, we couldn't go to craft shows anymore. And my thinking was, okay, this is good. I can use this time sitting at home, making things so that I won't feel that I'm in a crunch when the time comes that we are back doing craft shows. So I was busy making the kinds of things that I thought people would be interested in and learning more about other items to make with my hand-dyed yarn. And I, for some reason, decided one day out of the blue, after watching many creators, I did have a few YouTube creators that I enjoyed to watch. And I got thinking, I think I could do that. And I have all of these items that I've made just sitting here. And this would be the perfect thing to do on a channel. I could show all of the items that I have made a little bit at a time. And I know from watching, one of the things I watched back a few years. I don't watch it as often, but at the time I had been watching Rose Likes Crochet, And I particularly enjoyed watching when she would show the items she was receiving for Wings, a donation group she belongs to. She helps out. Wings is for battered women. And every month they receive something different. And 1 month of the year is for shawls. And I really, really loved watching when she showed all the shawls. She showed so many beautiful, beautiful shawls, and I would be learning new patterns to try. And of course, you see how some yarn works up and different colors and ideas people have. And I really, really enjoyed watching those episodes. And that kind of reinforced to me that, hey, people might enjoy seeing all the things I've made that are just sitting there down in the basement in containers. And that was really what got me going at the beginning and gave me the idea to start a channel. Well, in the meantime, COVID is over, and I have been to a couple of craft shows since then. I'm debating what I'm going to do this year. But as you can imagine, in 3.5 years, I showed everything that I had and sort of found myself running out of ideas what to do each week. Now, I try to, let me get a drink, please. I keep very busy crocheting, and I try to have something every week to show you that I finished or that I'm working on. But you can imagine that's not as much as all those items I had stockpiled, and you can only make so much in a week. And I am good at getting something done every week pretty well. But I still needed something to fill the time. And I didn't know things to just sit here and chat about. And I eventually started looking for other items or ideas to share with you. And one of the first things I got going on was, I remember in the early days showing you making a pattern with 3 different yarns, how it changes it. You might want to go back and look. I did a fiber spider pattern. I think I did the granny merge, and I did it in a heavyweight, and I did it in hand dyed. I think I did one in solid and one in color changing, and just showed the different ways, or how a pattern can look different depending on the yarn you use. And also in the early days, I got the idea to do a focus on designers, and I've done a number of them. I don't know, 6 or 7 different designers, maybe more. And they are all in one playlist. I now have playlists gathered. And so I started doing that. But again, it's kind of hard to keep up with that because I want to be sure I've done a number of patterns by that designer before I talk about them. Because I did come across a designer that I didn't think the patterns were well done. I don't think they had testers. And I don't want to show you or talk about a designer and you try a pattern and it's less than well written. So I have done that, and I still intend to keep doing that. And over the time, and of course, I do yarn acquisitions pretty regularly. I have one for you today. But, I can't buy yarn every week. Not that I don't want to, but, if you can't use it, you shouldn't be buying all that yarn. And I have a stockpile of it, some beautiful yarn that I want to get used. And that's why I do the stash down every month now. Once I saw a few other creators participating in it. I thought, that's a good thing to participate in. It will encourage me to try to use my stash as much as possible. And I have also told myself I am going to buy less because I just don't need more of it in the house. Now, that doesn't mean I never buy. I see things I like and I still do buy. So, the stash down every month started, and I got involved in doing other things. The stash down kind of led to a discussion with Diane from My Pink Bathtub, and she said how she would love to see more of my collection, we're calling it these days. And it really is a collection. And collecting yarn is almost another hobby separate from crocheting or knitting. And I found that people love to see my yarn, partly because it gives them ideas. Also, I talk about what I think of the yarn, and I've done some videos on the properties of various yarns, and I will get back to doing another one later this month. And that's helpful information for them in their decisions to buy. But I also think that for some people, they might never really be able to buy hand-dyed yarn. It just isn't in their budget. And I appreciate that. I don't mean to be a yarn snob. I do use acrylics as well. But I think for those that can't buy it, maybe they enjoy seeing it. They get some secondhand joy out of watching me show it and talk about it and tell them how it feels. So I got doing that, and by showing the yarn I bought, I got talking about the properties of yarn, and then I went back, and I'm in the middle of the series of different Canadian hand dyers, because people are looking for, you're going to get in the middle of things, are you? My little buddy is on the chair here on top of my bag of yarn. People are looking, if they're going to buy some hand-dyed, they are looking, especially my fellow Canadians, for Canadian dyers, because the exchange rate is not great. It is down a little bit. It's down from 50% to about 44, 45%, so it is a little better. But it's also good for my American followers because it is a good deal. They buy it here. And I had the question asked, I know I'm rambling, sorry. I had the question asked, yeah, but how do the tariffs affect us if we buy yarn over there? Well, my understanding from a couple of comments that the actual dyers have made, or store owners, is that tariffs are only collected on purchases or orders that are over $800. And I'm sure none of you are ordering $800 at any one time. No, you got to stay there. Sorry, but I don't want your fur all over here. No, I'm sorry. No. Yes, he wants to get in the middle of it, but no, he can't. I'll turn. No. Anyhow, so tariffs aren't a problem on small purchases. It's much like when we go across for a visit, we're allowed to bring so much back duty-free. Same idea. You're allowed to buy a certain amount before tariffs are put on it. And here he is, no matter how much I say no. So say hello to the people, then I'm going to put you down. I know you missed seeing him last week, and I don't want fur and hair in my face and all over the place. So that became another focus on the channel, was talking about yarn and the qualities of yarn and trying to point out Canadian dyers. I will be doing US dyers and international dyers later in the year. But all of this to tell you that it seems like I've become a channel since I don't have as much to show, because I believed I was a channel about showing you finished objects. And for the first year and a half, I had a lot to show. But that has kind of calmed down. I don't have a lot to show, not any more than anybody else. And I've become a channel of imparting information, might be the best way to say it. And I've had people out there comment on, you learn things on Judy's channel. And I guess I have to apologize, but I guess that is the career teacher coming out in me. And it was not my intention when I started this channel, but it seems to have evolved into that kind of channel. And I hope that people are finding what I have to share interesting, and I will continue to look for items and things to share with you, to share my knowledge. And I don't know it all. I will go and do research in order to bring you more information. And so I guess I've become the teaching channel, although I do not do tutorials. I have been asked about pattern tutorials, and that is something I really can't. I did some tutorials last summer in demonstrating some stitches, and I just picked 6 stitches to demonstrate, and then we put those stitches together in a summer cal that I did. I do a summer cal every summer, and I will do another cal this summer, and I will talk about that at a later date. But to actually do tutorials showing you how to make patterns is something I can't do for a couple of reasons. The first major reason is I don't design, so I don't have patterns to do tutorials of. And you can't do tutorials. Hey buddy, you're all caught up in the yarn. You can't do tutorials of other people's work. Now, you can, I suppose, make arrangements with some designers if they would like there to be a tutorial for their work, but I really don't have the proper setup or equipment to do a proper tutorial of a pattern. I have done a few small tutorials, very, very rough. And next week, that reminds me, I'm going to do part 4 of the Ravelry tutorials. I am going to do, as I mentioned, I think last month, I'm going to do a tutorial on showing you how to use the advanced search in Ravelry. And it'll be rough, but I think you'll get the idea. I really do think using Ravelry, and I don't care what their political problems or stance is, and I don't care what the debate is. I keep out of it. I use Ravelry for what it is, and that is, it's an exceptional tool. Whoever started it, I give them credit for it, because there's a lot to be found and learned, and on Ravelry. And I think it's a great tool. Everybody should take some time to learn how to use it to the fullest if you can. And I don't know everything about Ravelry, but I am happy to share what I do know about Ravelry. So that's all my meanderings about what my channel is about. It's about sharing whatever information and knowledge I have. And I get good feedback about what's happening. And of course, people love a mal or a cal. And I have a monthly mal every year. It's a different topic. and people seem to enjoy that. And you saw my latest just yesterday, if you keep track of what I'm doing. So that was something I wanted to talk about recently. It just came to my mind. Now, a couple of other things that I want to mention. Um, First of all, you're all aware that my life is busy this past year, and you know what? It's almost a year. The end of May is when Rose had her stroke, and that has kept me very busy with other responsibilities for the last 11 months. And somebody said to me maybe a month ago something in the line of making, crocheting some roses for Rose. Well, first of all, um, doing that kind of small thing doesn't really appeal to me. Um, I guess you can find a pattern somewhere on YouTube. You can find almost everything. I could find a pattern to make her some roses. I don't think they would matter to her. It's not something that would excite her. And I have to tell you, I did make her a rose because at one time I was into stained glass, and I made her, and I'll put a picture up here. I made her a stained glass rose which she had hung on her patio door. And then she took it down, I'm thinking because she was worried about it falling and breaking. So I have since taken it to her, and it's hanging in her room in the window, and it is fastened quite securely, so that it won't fall. And I'm happy she has it in her room. And while I'm talking about Rose, I thought, you hear a lot about her. Maybe you would like to be able to picture this person. And I came across some pictures because she did model a few of the things I made, and I was able to post them in my Facebook page where I was showing my my crochet. So here's a picture of Rose modeling one of my cocoon cardigans a while back. Oh, that's got to be quite a few years ago now, 3 or 4. But that reminds me of the other thing I wanted to say about my channel, where my name came from, because I hear a lot of people getting it all confused. I don't know what is so confusing about it, but they get the words all mixed up. And I'll tell you how I came to it. I had, like I said, made so many items that I decided to put them on a Facebook page in the hopes that people would purchase them. And I called the Facebook page Judy's Creations. And I left it at that because I was at the same time planning to show my jewelry. So I just wanted to keep it. I did not want to put specific. I just put Judy's Creations. Well, the jewelry, I didn't do much with it. I still have lots of it. But when it came to my Facebook, my YouTube channel, I decided I did want there to be some connection, and I was just going to call my YouTube channel Judy's Creations. But it dawned on me that it could be just about anything, and I really wanted to attract the crochet community, or at least the yarn needlework kind of community. So that's why I added in Judy's Creations in crochet, so that I would still have the other name embedded in it. Now, Facebook has been, I think, sending me a lot of notices that there's no activity and they're going to shut it down. Honestly, I think it's scammers trying to get me all concerned, and I don't care. If it gets shut down, it gets shut down. Okay, next thing I want to talk about, I do have a list of things I want to talk about here. I might make this episode long as the others. You never know, I can talk. I wanted to talk about EFA. You hear me talk about them a lot, and I would really like to know, please answer the question in the comments below. How many of you do follow EFA? EFA has a newsletter. They do a major giveaway every month. Shandy has a Facebook and an Instagram live every week on Tuesdays. Would you please stop walking over my yarn? And they do a pattern giveaway every Friday. And I'm not trying to say you have to buy EFA yarn. I understand a lot of you never will. And that's fine. But following EFA means that you would get, no, don't come up. You would get an email every Friday with the information about the free pattern. And why not get a free pattern? Every week they have a free pattern. They try to alternate between knit and crochet. They understand there are a lot of crocheters out there. In fact, Shandy started as a crocheter and years later taught herself to knit, back when she was starting to hand dye as well. So I have to say, please tell me, do you watch or follow Shandy or Expression Fiber Arts? I would really like to know, and I would really like to encourage everybody to at least get on their mailing list, because then you'll get the information about the free pattern every week. And why not get a free pattern every week? I have well over 100 patterns, and I only get the crochet ones. So if you're a knitter and a crocheter, you could have hundreds of free patterns. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But I really, really want to encourage you to follow them, just for that reason alone. And Shandy is such a delight to watch. She is a very interesting person. And participate in their monthly draw. You never know, if you're a lucky kind of person, you could win 30 or 40 skeins of yarn. Imagine that. I just saw on get your head out of there. I just saw Rose on Rose Likes Crochet won one of their draws on Instagram, and she was showing me. I was very envious, Rose. I'm not the lucky type. I rarely win anything, but I participate every month. And as Shandy says, you know, maybe if you get a friend to watch and participate, maybe your friend will win and share it with you. So I'm not expecting anybody to do that. If you get their yarn, lucky you, and enjoy every little bit of it. So that's what I want to say about that. Now I'm going to break here. I'm going to insert a small video because I have been talking about all of the, and I don't need more minis. And as you know, I will always do an Advent or two at Christmas, and I'm doing a Christmas in July. That's coming up. I love opening those minis and I love sharing them with you. But I thought I'd do a little video to give you an idea of the amount of minis I have. So we're going to break away here to see that little video. Okay, I'm going to start with this box right here. And this is one of the boxes I received my Christmas Advent in from Yarn Unique. I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but if you, it's not focused very well, but if we open it up, this is the box that I have kept all of my sparkle. You can't see it in all of them, but you can definitely see the sparkle in this one. See sparkle down here. There are some leftover balls, but mostly this is full of sparkle minis. And it's quite full And hey, it even has a yellow one in here. I may be giving that away at some point, we'll see. But these are the sparkle yarns I've collected. And this is a box that's, close to 3 inches tall. And you can see it's longer than a mini because it has room for balls of leftovers down here. So quite a few sparkle minis, and they have been set aside. Now I'm doing everything one-handed, so please forgive me. Now below it, I have a tub. I'll show you the tub first of all here. This is a tub that measures about 15 inches long and almost 10 inches deep. Sorry, I don't know that in centimeters, but if I take this box off of it, you can see that it is chock full of minis. I mean, like chock full. It goes down many, many, many layers. All kinds of minis. And at the back, I have some bags of minis and some other odd minis. There's another. These are the small pickle jar minis that I got one time from Aberdeen's Wool. This is some I got from them. But you can tell how tall this is because a mini will stand up here. And this is full. I mean, full to the brim. So you can imagine that's a lot of minis. It goes down probably, 5 or 6 layers of these laying here. So that's a lot of minis in a lot of different types. Some have speckling, some are solid or tonal. A lot of them are variegated in every color you can imagine. Sorry, I'm wiggling just a little bit, trying to hold this and show at the same time. So if you can see how big this tub is, it is full, along with this box that I'm going to put back on top. And then beside it, I have one of these cubes. And this cube, I'm going to say it's something like maybe 10 inches by 10 inches by 10 inches. And I want to show you this cube. I'll take some of it out. I have a number of collections of minis. Here's some odd minis. These are a little bit bigger than usual. They're 200 meters. And then I have a collection of sparkle minis on the top. I had them out with a purpose in mind, and I've forgotten what that purpose was, but I'm going to take those sparkle ones out for the moment and show you that I have some packages of gradated ones. You'll see these when I do the US dyers. And while I'm showing you this package and another package below it, I have probably 4 or 5 more packages in a cupboard that didn't fit in this cube. So I'm just going to put them to the side, these packages, because I want to show you what's under them. And that is a few more packages lined up here. And then I have several collections like this. And you're going to see some of these. You saw Rose Hill in the last video. There are a couple of Rose Hill, and then there are a couple from other companies, and I'll be showing you these at a later date. Again, more of these collections, sets of minis from various companies. So this cube is full. These I got from the UK, and I'll talk about them at a later date. So I just want to put this all back in here, and that gives you an idea. Now when I say I have a lot of minis, now you understand exactly what I mean when I say I have more minis. then I really know what to do with. I put these sparkly ones all back and put that one back. So this cube is full of minis. I have about, I don't know, 4 or 5, maybe 6 of those packages like I showed you. This is full and this is full. And that's a lot of minis in this tub. So back to regular program. How about that? Was that enough minis for you? And I wanted to show you, I have another package here. This is from Borealis that we talked about last week. And this is a sparkle. The sparkles don't come across very well, but this is a set of, and that's what I was talking about, that I have several other packages. This one's small, the others have like 6, one of them has 8 or 10, but I do have several other packages like this of minis that I didn't show you, and a couple that are on the table ready for my next province. I don't know which province it'll be in, Ontario or Quebec. I have some more minis to show. So I want to finish this off with the fact that I did get one acquisition, and this is one of the dyers that I have bought a fair bit from in Quebec, and you'll be hearing about her. It'll probably be June by the time I get around to Quebec. She sends it this way, and I like it when they send it this way. They certainly save us on the shipping, and I like to open it on camera. So some of you who've never seen it get to see it, but that was flat as could be, and already you can see it's plumped up. And this is yarn from the color of my fiber. And somebody out there, and I think it was Cathy, the enabler, I'm going to blame her for this, notified me that Color of My Fiber was having a sale. I think it was 35% off. And so, of course, I had to go and look, because Color of My Fiber is one of my top indie dyers in Canada for sure, but maybe even one of my top indie dyers, because I like the selection she has. Now, this particular yarn is 80% merino, 20% nylon. So it wasn't, I like getting her cashmere silk ones. But anyway, here it is. And I really was wanting some speckles. And I have a number of skeins of navies that I could put this with. So there's some navy and some pink, along with the light blue, and of course white. So I was really happy with that. And I don't remember exactly, but I would think that the yarn is either 34 or 36 Canadian dollars. And I think I paid $4 or $6 shipping. So, you know, if you convert that to American, that is really quite reasonable, although the shipping will be more than $4 to send US. But still, I really like that. The colors in that are really quite pretty. All right, so this brings us to the end of your second visit with me this week. And I chatted away and talked about enough things to keep us going. I hope it wasn't too boring. Next week, we are going to look at Canadian dyers from the prairie provinces of Saskatchewan and Manitoba. And there aren't a lot in those provinces. I only have 5 in total to show you, so it won't take a whole video. I'm hoping, all going well, I got to have enough time at the beginning of next week I'm hoping to do the tutorial on part 4 of Ravelry. Yes, I think I can maybe manage to get that worked in there next weekend and show that to you next week. And then we'll again take a break, and then I'll have Ontario to talk about, and that's going to take 2 weeks. So I look forward to seeing you again next week. And I hope this hasn't been too boring today. And until I see you again, happy hooking.